Hey guys, today we are talking about polynomials. So you might be wondering, what is a polynomial? Well, let me give you an example. So here we have an example of a polynomial. Polynomials are combinations of different monomials. So here's an example of a monomial would be 3x to the fourth. Another monomial would be negative 7y. So if you see a combination of variables, exponents, and coefficients, then you would call this a polynomial. Let's say I have 5x to the third plus 2x minus 8. This is another example of a polynomial. Okay? Now we look to the highest exponent. So the biggest exponent I have here is 3. So that means that the degree of this exponent is 3. And the coefficient, it's the number in front of the variable with the highest exponent. So the leading coefficient here would be 5. All right, so we'll say that this is the degree. This is the leading coefficient. This negative 8 over here, notice there's no variables being multiplied by that negative 8. So that means that negative 8 is always negative 8. So we would call that a constant. All right, so let's remember these concepts of leading coefficient, degree, and constant. Now let's talk about polynomial functions, okay? We're going to talk about some common types of polynomial functions, okay? So we'll start with the things that you need to know would be the degree, the type, standard form. And then I'll give you an example. So when the degree is 0, we call that a constant. And what that looks like is this. F of x equals k. An example of that would be f of x equals 7. Now let's say the degree is 1. The type would be linear. Standard form looks like f of x is equal to ax plus b. And an example of that would be f of x equals negative 2x plus 4. When the degree is 2, we call that quadratic. Standard form for that is f of x equals a x squared plus b x plus c. And an example of that would be f of x equals 2x squared plus 3x minus 7. When the degree is 3, we call that cubic. And the standard form for that is f of x equals a x to the third power plus b x squared plus cx plus d. An example of that would be f of x equals 5x to the third plus 4x squared plus 7x minus 1. When the degree is 4, we call that quartic. Not to be confused with quadratic. Notice degree 2 is quadratic and degree 4 is quartic. In standard form for quartic is f of x equals ax to the fourth plus bx to the third plus c x to the second plus dx plus e. And an example of that would be f of x is equal to 2x to the fourth plus 6x to the third plus 9x squared minus 7x plus 1. And this is a summary of the common types of polynomial functions. So you should write this down. So you'll have a copy of this in your notes. You can always come back and refer to this.